Yo, what up gamers? So the new league just dropped, and this is the build I've been working on ever since then. Unfortunately, I have not had that much time to play, because on the 29th and a few days after that, when the league came out, I was actually sick, so I had to get my 8 hours of sleep and, you know, staying hydrated, actually eating food, taking showers. And those are all things that I normally wouldn't be all that concerned about at the start of the league, but it turns out that sometimes you do have to take care of yourself, you know? It's good to do that every now and then. But yeah, so this is the build. It's a blood mage, blood magic build. This is pretty much what got me to level 100 last league, except there's a few new toys we have to play with this league. Particularly, the build no longer really relies on serious acuity or leech at all for that matter, mostly because of this jewel right here. Now the one I have is really cracked, however you don't really need one with all 4 dissipations. In fact, you don't really need any of the dissipations. The main thing you want is the keystone from the Tecrod passive, which I will also put up on the screen. And more or less what it does is, it gives you pretty much infinite life regen, at least as long as you can sustain the life cost of your skills. Since we're using blood magic and we have a lot of health because of the gear that I'm using, and you can check it out on the Path of Building and PoE Ninja that I linked in the description, we are essentially a life stacking build. And another payoff we have this league is a new lineage support gem called atalui bloodletting. And basically this gem is life tap, except on steroids. Except this gem is the steroids, because unlike life tap, this gem also gives you damage based on how much health your skills cost. And if your skills cost a lot of health, that means you do a lot of damage, and a lot of damage is very good. We can only use this gem on one skill, since it's a lineage gem, so I use it on Spark, mostly so I can just clear out the maps as efficiently as possible. However, for pure boss damage purposes, I would put it inside another new skill that came out this league, which is Spellslinger, which comes from a new weapon, the new one called the dueling one. It's basically cast on critical, except you don't need to crit for it, it just gains energy anytime you cast a spell. It also costs no spirit, so if you're a spellcaster, there's pretty much no reason for you to have any one that isn't a dueling one, because Spellslinger is just so strong. But yeah, since we're life stacking, I am using Veil of the Night and Wrathpith and Chaos, which are all pretty expensive items, so this is not really the best budget build. You don't necessarily need all of these. You could go for a regular +3 spell focus and just some regular old body armor. Although, at least for doing damage, this setup just works out way better, in my opinion. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Right about now I am going to throw the skill tree up on the screen, so you can get some manner of look as to what kind of skills I'm mostly going for. But to give you a rundown, it's pretty much just crit damage and cast speed. And that's because I am using Comet instead of my Spellslinger, which is a cold spell, and Spark is a lightning spell. So stacking lightning damage is not gonna affect my damage as much as it would if I just stack regular crit, and vice versa for cold damage. Another thing to consider is that Atalui's bloodletting makes your spell do physical damage, so that's pretty relevant. It does make you consider getting things that increase physical damage. I am gonna leave the rest of the map playing out for you guys to enjoy, so feel free to do just that. Also, if you thought you could get rid of me, I am still gonna commentate, for better or worse, so we'll see how that goes. And honestly, one thing that's been on my mind recently is I really wanted to play Silksong. I'm mostly just waiting for my next check from my job, so I can comfortably buy it without worrying about rent for the most part. But yeah, if you guys have already played Silksong, do let me know how much you like it, or don't like it, which I would be really surprised if you don't, honestly, but I mean, to each their own, right? There's never gonna be a game that absolutely everyone likes. But yeah, I have been really looking forward to playing Silksong, especially after the 8-year wait. It has been a while, damn. Putting that aside, what do you guys think of the new league? I actually really like the Abyss. I think the Abyss is a great mechanic, and it's adding a lot to the game. I think it's really fun. Also, it's kind of nice that they added a mechanic that's actually relevant to the game, unlike Wisps. Like, holy crap. Wisps were so disappointing, so it's a breath of fresh air to have something new added to the maps that actually impacts them and the way you play them. I am, however, gonna say that the new boss, Kulemak's Vessel, is just such a pushover. Like, you can one-shot the last phase with pretty much any amount of damage. It's just so weak. I really wish they added a stronger, better, faster, harder boss to the game than whatever the hell that thing is. I can't really say I was expecting that they would make Arbiter 2 with it, considering that Arbiter is already in the game and it's only 0.3, so in theory we're only 30% of the way to the full release. But I will say I was expecting that Uber Arbiter would at least be harder than Tier 4 Arbiter from the last league, but it's actually just the exact same fight. It is what it is. I will go try and do some cool stuff after reaching 100, or maybe I'll just skip min-maxing this until I get bored of it. But yeah, for now, we'll see. Anyway, I think I will end up closing the video right about now. I think I've been yapping long enough, so hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, have a good one.